Welcome back to Library Choice YouTube channel. In today's class, we'll be learning how to make this cute flare short pant tutorial using freehand method. It's a very simple tutorial and it's beginner friendly. If this is something you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned till the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to make this flare short pants, I'll be working with this ankara fabric, but it's multicolored, so my chalk may not show. I'm just going to draft it on this paper before we transfer. I need about 2 yards of fabric for this project, and this is a requested tutorial, so I will make it as simple as possible. Be drafting the front and back together on this panel. So now the first thing I'm going to do now, on this side of my paper, I'm going to measure 3 inches. Okay, like this. And then I'm going to make these 3 inches into a straight line. Okay, so this is the front side, and then up here is going to be, this side is going to be my back side. So here I'm going to measure 4 inches like this, and then also I'm going to make this 4 inches into a straight line. Okay, so after making this into a straight line, the points where they meet, this intersection point, so this intersection point is very important. You need to take the measure. So this depends on how fitted you want this short to be. So if you want it to be free around the waist area, that's if you're not adding elastic to this, you will use your hip measurement. But if you don't want to add zipper to this, I mean, so if you want to wear it freely without a zipper, maybe you use your elastic to gather it, you use your hip measurement for this part. But if you want to make it fitted, you just use your waist measurement. Okay, so we're just going to be drafting a fitted short. So for our waist measurement, the waist I'm working with is 30 inches. So the 30 inches, I'm going to divide it by 3. So if you're going to be using your hip also, you divide your hip measurements by 3. So if I divide 30 by 3, I'm going to have 10 inches. So from this intersection point, I'm going to measure 10 inches round. So I'm measuring 10 here, 10 here. Just take as many points as possible, and then you're going to connect your points together. So I'm measuring 10 inches all around, and then I'm going to connect my 10 inches like this. So this is going to be my waist measurement. So you may want to check it to be sure that you have that waist measurement. This is just half of the body. Remember I said this is the front, this is the back. So when you are cutting this on your fabric, you fold it into 2. So now this should equal to your half waist measurement, or if it's more than, it's fine, but it should at least be equal to your half waist measurement. So now I'm taking my tape round this now, and then I have around 16 inches. Remember my waist is 30 inches, so 30 divided by 2 should give me 15, and I have 16 inches, which is okay for me. Okay, so after having this, now the next thing is to measure my crotch depth from here. Okay, so I'm going to extend this line that I started with, and then I'm going to mark my crotch depth. The crotch depth I'm marking it for this tutorial is 11 inches. Okay, so here now I'm going to mark 11 inches. So from here I'll measure 11 inches and mark. Okay, so this is going to be my crotch for the front, and then I'm going to, on that 11 inches, I'll just square it like this, and then on the other side there for the back, I'll mark the same 11 inches, and then I'm going to square it. So I just need to extend my line here also. I hope you can see this. So this paper is not enough for me. I'm just going to join a little to that. So I have 11 inch. I have my mark there. I'll measure that 11 inches also for my back. Okay, so I have up to 11 inches here, and then I'm going to square it on that part also. So let me just join this to this paper, and then I'll bring it back to show us. So I've added to my paper, then I just measured my 11 inches from where my curve stops. I hope you can see this well, and then I squared it up to that point. So now I'm just going to draw my crotch curve. You can use your free hand, or you just use a curve to draw a curve, connecting it like this. So this is for the back, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the front ear also. I'm going to, so you should note that the measurement that I took from my crotch for the front is 3 inches and 4 inches for the back, because the back is where the bum is. So you should make this as small as possible. So I'm just making this a very simple tutorial, so that's why I'm using my free hand. So after getting this point, now the next measurement you need is to measure how long you want this short to be. So for me, I want it to be 15 inches long. So from my waist point, remember this is my waistline here, I'm going to mark 15 inches all around and then connect it. So I'm adding 1 inch as seam allowance and then I'm making it 16 inches. So from here I'm marking 16 inches from my waist measurement. I'm marking 16 inches and then I'm connecting it round. Okay, so it's very simple. So from here I'll mark it up to where my crotch extension is. So from here I'm just trying to take my 16 inches mark like this. Okay, so after that, now you join everything together. So my table is quite small, so my camera may not be able to catch everything, but I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I'm connecting it like this all the way around. Okay, so I want this shot to be really, the flare to be big, so that's why I'm just using the whole angle for this. Okay, you can reduce this if you want. So I'm marking my 16 inches all around and then I'm connecting them all together. So after connecting, this is what I have. Then I'm going to cut this out. So by the time I cut it out, we'll see it's better. So using my scissors, I'll cut the entire length first. So I'm cutting where I have my 16 inches mark. Remember, this is the front and back. Okay, so now the next thing now is to cut my crotch. So I'm cutting my crotch, and then here I'm going to cut my round waist. So if you're adding a zipper to this, you may add your zipper allowance. The zipper is usually at the back. There is no side seam on this. So here now you may extend this by an inch or whatever zipper allowance that you use. So you just measure 1 inch here before you cut it out on your crotch area. You extend it by 1 inch and then you measure your zipper length. So if you are using a 7 inches or 6 inches zipper, you measure that, and then there also you measure your 1 inch for your zipper and then you connect it. Okay, but if you use your waist measurement, your hip measurement, which means you are using an elastic to gather it, you don't need to add your zipper allowance here. So here I'm just going to connect it like that. So this is going to carry my zipper and then I extend this like this. So I'll continue cutting this. So here I'll cut this and then I'll cut out my crotch curve. Okay, so I have my pant. This is what it is looking like, and then here you can get the midpoint here. So how you get the midpoint is your side seam is by folding the waist into two like this. So this is going to be your midpoint. So I'm just going to press on it so that I can have my crease line. So this is the midpoint here. I'm just going to draw it with my ruler so that we can see it well. And then I'm going to label this part my back, and this is my front. So on my front part, because I want to be a bit lower at the center front, so there's this fitting that this gives to trousers. So here on the center front, remember this is my center front, I'm just going to go lower by half an inch or 0.75 inches here, and then I'm going to connect that to my side seam like this. Okay, so you just find a way to connect it. You can use a curve, slightly cross side of your ruler, because this is actually a curved line. So I'm just trying to connect this back to this point like this. I just want that effect there, and then I'm going to shape that off. Okay, so this is what I have. So now I'm going to fold my fabric and cut out two of these for my two sides. Okay, so I just folded my fabric into two. I hope you can see this. It's folded into two, and then I place this pattern on it. So now, using my scissors, I'm going to cut out this exact pattern on my fabric. So this part is for my zipper allowance. And then I'm going to cut the front crotch also. Yeah, you can see that it's very simple to make this pants. So after cutting this out now, I'm going to remove my pin. So now you note this as your back, but in my case I have this extension as my back, so I don't need to notch it. The extension makes it easy for me to know this is my back and which is my front. Okay, so after taking out my pins like this, I have my fabric. I'm just going to place my fabric right side facing right side. To slash this part open. So I'm going to place my fabric right side facing right side, then I'll go over and sew it on the crotch area. Okay, so here now for the back, I'll leave the zipper area and then start sewing my crotch from here. I'm going to sew the crotch for the back, and also I'm going to sew the crotch for the front, then I'll bring it back for us to continue. So I've gone ahead to sew my crotch, and you can see that for the back I stopped where my zipper allowance stops. So you can just use your pins to continue it, or you can sew it up completely and then you loosen it when you want to install your zipper. So now after sewing both crotch, the next thing I'm going to do now is to open up the short, and then on this part I'm going to match the crotch together. Okay, so front and back, both front and back, I'm going to match it up like this. You can see the way I opened up. This is my front crotch, that the back crotch, the one with the zip allowance that I sewed, and this is the front crotch. So I'm just placing the front crotch and back crotch against each other like this, and then I'm going to sew it close on both sides. So I'm going to sew it like this, and then you hem your pants, fix your band or whatever you want to put, and it's ready. So this is the same way you're going to do if you're working with your hip measurement. The only difference is that on your part, this is not going to fit in your waist because it's actually bigger than your waist measurement. So what you do is just fix a band and then use elastic to gather it back to your actual waist measurement. And then you can see our front, you can see this V effect that we have there because of that slanting that I have. I just like to have this on my pants. So I'll go over to the machine and do this now, then I'll take it to the mannequin so that we can see what we have. Okay, so this is what our short is looking like. You can see the waist area is perfectly fitted, so you just fix your band here or whatever, or you hem it depending on what you want. And then this is the flare part of the sleeve. Okay, so you can see how flared this is. It's really looking beautiful. This is the crotch. okay, to show that this is a pant. As you can see, I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.